Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is the 182nd episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. It is great to be here with you. Thank you for tuning in. Please, 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 please do us a favor and share the show with everyone you know, specifically if you know people in the city of Muncie, Delaware County, Indiana, or the city of Newcastle or Henry County, Indiana. Those two areas specifically, we're going to be hitting hot and heavy this evening. We have a lot to talk about from both of those communities, and it really kind of bleeds into everything that we've been talking about here in the last really 6 months or so, and it's just kind of interesting how all of this really just it just keeps on rolling into one other thing after another. So to bring you up to speed with what we're talking about tonight, basically just to give you a little bit of an agenda, the name of the episode tonight is Chess Moves, Vehicle Pursuits, and the News. Tonight's agenda, ladies and gentlemen, will be focused on the following topics. We are going to be discussing the breaking news out of the city of Muncie earlier today. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't see what that says. Hold on. What did it say?
It just said check the starred comments, man.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I just got over there. Yeah. Sorry about that. Hey, yeah, I'm glad that we're on those starred comments already. I will get those here in a second. The agenda for this evening, breaking news out of Muncie concerning Muncie Dan Ridenhour's announcement that he has named a new replacement for the Muncie Animal Shelter Director. This new person is someone that is not new to local government. He is actually a former employee of the Delaware County Clerk's Office and the Delaware County Auditor's Office. Obviously, a lot of us know who this gentleman is. It's Joshua Taulbee. He will be the newest animal shelter director. We're going to be talking about that, the good, the bad, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, and we're going to be talking about that. Along with that, this evening, we're going to be talking about the vehicle pursuit. This is something that a lot of people have been talking about all throughout East Central Indiana today. The vehicle pursuit that the Henry County Sheriff's Department was involved in earlier today. This was a vehicle pursuit this morning, right around 6 a.m. The pursuit made its way from Henry County into Delaware County and then into the city of Muncie, the downtown area of Muncie, and then up to Muncie's northwest side. And the vehicle resulted in a traffic accident, which then resulted in the serious and critical injuries of a couple different individuals, and unfortunately did result in a fatality. So we're going to be talking about that, and you know that I have a lot to say about that because I have had a lot to say about the Henry County Sheriff and the Sheriff's Department, and I'm going to tell you, first and foremost, at about 11:30 or noon today, the local news media, Star Press, and various other indie newspapers were releasing the names of the victims. So apparently shortly after 11 today, notification was made, and they did officially name everyone. The one person that has not been named has been the deputy that started the accident. Now, I don't know if any of you out there know the name of the deputy, but we know the name of the deputy, and I see no reason for that deputy's name not to be released, so we will be releasing the name of the deputy. I will be giving you that as well. They were chasing a suspected impaired driver. We also, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that have not heard, we will be listening to the actual police traffic. We're going to be listening to the dispatch traffic from the Henry County Sheriff's Department side, and we're going to be listening to the dispatch traffic from the Delaware County Muncie City side. Now, I want to let you guys know there is nothing crazy, nothing insane, nothing traumatic. Yes, what happened today was a horrible situation. Yes, it was just god awful what occurred. And we're going to be breaking this down. There's been a lot of people debating, what should have happened. Yeah, the guy should have just pulled over. Yes, the police should have stopped. Yeah, this. We're going to break it down and we're going to get into it. The one thing that I can tell you that is a little bit of a plus here is, besides being a political commentator, I have been a police officer. I have been involved in vehicle pursuits. I have had training and experience in emergency vehicle operations, and I can talk to you more than just some blowhard talking about vehicle pursuits. We can talk about that. So we will get into all of that, and we will play all of that. And then we're going to end up, lastly, talking about an article in the Henry County Courier-Times today, a strange little state-ran media. So we're going to be talking about that. So we've got two parts Henry County, one part Muncie and Delaware County, and it's going to be an interesting show. We do ask that you please, if you're watching live, comment along with us. Give us your thoughts. Argue along with us. If you agree, let us know that you agree. If you disagree, let us know that you disagree. We are interested in hearing what you have to say. And so we are interested in that. We are going to get into who was chasing, who was helping, who wasn't helping. We're going to do all of that. We're going to talk about all of the pros and the cons with Josh Taulbee and everything else in between. So we are going to get into all of that. And I do want your opinions. For those of you that are here on YouTube, please do all of the YouTube things. Smash the like button. Please consider giving us a like. It does help. It doesn't cost you anything. Also, what doesn't cost you anything is it does not cost you anything to subscribe to the channel. If you are not subscribed, we ask you to do so. Once you subscribe, you can do that for free. You can also hit the bell for free, which keeps you up to date, and it drops little notifications for you when we go live, which is normally 5 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It also notifies you when we drop shorts and when we drop recorded static videos. So consider subscribing and hitting the bell. And as I've said, if you are watching live, please comment over there in the comment box and let us know what your thoughts are. If you are watching this at a later date, a later time, if you're watching this on your own time, during your own convenience, wherever out in time and space you might be watching, please comment in the comment box below. And most importantly, and above all else, please share the show with everyone you know. All right, so before we get started, I do have to run through the a couple of the quotes to see what's going on. We've got some quotes. Everyone has 1,000 wishes before a tragedy, but just one afterward. Frederick Backman. What an amazing, amazing quote. Everyone has 1,000 wishes before a tragedy, but just one afterward. We also have the way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. That's a great quote brought to us by Alva. That's Ida B. Wells. And then the greatest glory in living lies in never failing, but rising never falling, but rising every time we fall. Nelson Mandela. That's brought by Julie. Thank you. And then 4 Days says, thanks, Sproles, for not only suggesting they raise our taxes in Henry County, but guaranteeing they have to, all thanks to your dumb ass. Baptize that you fake hypocrite, wannabe Christian idiot. So that is not a quote, but a comment from 4 days, and he's been chomping at the bit. He or she, I guess, has been chomping at the bit to get in here and talk and have some commentary. So, okay, let's. Hey, yes. It's me, RG3B said, I heard a great one today. It's a bitch to be a bitch. And that's, I guess that's, very true. Yeah. It's, it pays to be nice. Announcements aren't economic development. Finished projects. Charlize. Announcement aren't economic development. I love it. Okay, so we are going to take the agenda just a little bit out of order. Instead, I have it written out as we were going to deal with the breaking news, which was the Josh Taulbee story. Then we were going to do the vehicle crash, and then we were going to do the Courier-Times. We are actually going to do the Henry County vehicle pursuit first, and then the animal shelter story. So please do not don't shoot the messenger or the commentator or the producer. It's not Kate's fault. It's not even my fault. I won't tell you why. I will tell you why. I'll tell you, because for those of you that don't know, Audie Barber has been at work for the last 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He doesn't ever get to watch anymore. I'm in bed by 7. I'm tired. Well, tonight he said he actually wanted to watch and listen because he wanted to listen to the Henry County police audio and the MPD audio. And I told Audie, because he is a contributor here to the program, I told him that we would take it out of order. We've done it for Jeff once. We'll do it for Audie once. So, okay, without further ado, I'm going to get into the story with the situation of, and let you know what's kind of going on with the vehicle pursuit. We are going to read through the media updates and releases just briefly, so everyone can kind of get a little bit of an understanding of what's going on. Some people, I know it might be hard. Listen, social media today involving this was a dumpster fire, and I will explain to you why here in just a minute. Okay, but there were some, my brain hurt after reading some of these comments. There were people saying, we should have just built a wall. We should stop Henry County from... All right, before we get into that, we're going to go through this, and then we'll break it down, and we'll take it, and we will approach this with common sense. All right, first we're going to turn to the Star Press. The Star Press released this, and they've updated it several times. The Star Press says 1 killed, 2 hurt as police chase ends with crash at McGalliard and Tillotson in Muncie. Oh, I apologize. I'm getting a... give me just 1 second here. I want to make sure that give me 1 second here. I want to make sure that I've got this out everywhere that it needs to be. Give me 1 second here. Sorry, there was a couple people ask if I had shared this with... If any of you are in any groups that belong to City of Muncie groups, Henry County groups, if anyone knows anybody that is interested in this or that might not be able to view this for various other reasons, feel free to share this with anyone that you want to. Tag people. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. I would appreciate you to share the YouTube link. It's easier to watch on YouTube, and the viewing, the viewing ability and the ability to interact with more comments it's a better experience if you watch on YouTube. But the rest of it's up to you. You do as you please. All right, on with that. I've got that done there. That's shared with where we need to. So here we go. 1 killed, 2 hurt as police chase ends with crash at McGalliard and Tillotson in Muncie. Muncie, Indiana, a police chase that began in Henry County ended Thursday morning with a fatal crash at one of Muncie's busiest intersections. According to Indiana State Police, a Dodge Dart driven by Zachary Kane Antrim, 28 of Van Buren in Grant County, was traveling northbound on Indiana 3 near Henry County Road 950 North when a Henry County Sheriff's deputy tried to pull the vehicle over. A chase then ensued. A press release indicated that the deputy intended to stop the Dart for a traffic infraction, which was speed and the suspicion of being an impaired driver. Now, I'm going to tell you what caused that. What caused that was the fact that the vehicle had done a U-turn and then was all over the roadway. That's what I'm hearing from my sources from within law enforcement in Henry County. All right. That is not out officially anywhere. Emergency dispatchers were notified when the chase entered Delaware County and a short time later, the Muncie city limits, with the Dart eventually traveling eastbound on McGalliard Road at what ISP called a high rate of speed. Okay. Shortly after 6 a.m. at McGalliard's intersection with Tillotson Avenue near Ball State University campus, Antrim's vehicle, the Dart, ran a red light and struck a Jeep traveling northbound on Tillotson that was driven by Shantana Sherelle Schmeising. That's the best that's going to get. 38 of Muncie. Both vehicles came to a rest in a grassy area northwest of the intersection, according to the state police release. I don't think they realize how sounds. Okay. All right. Moving on. A passenger in the Dodge Dart, 25-year-old Nicholas Wayne Woolhams. I think they have forgotten the S on the name. It's Woolhams of Muncie, was pronounced dead at the scene. Delaware County Coroner Gavin Green. Both drivers were taken by ambulance to IU Healthball Memorial Hospital, where they were reported to be in critical condition. The driver of the vehicle minding its own business was later transferred to IU Health Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis, which to me would indicate that she was in more serious condition. And that's just my own thoughts and opinions on that. The release of the investigation was active and ongoing. The name of the Henry County Sheriff's deputy will be released later, it said. The Muncie Police Department's traffic reconstruction team was also involved in the investigation. The pursuit originated from circumstances out of our jurisdiction. Deputy Police Chief Melissa Criswell said in a release, the Muncie Police Department was not involved in the pursuit. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and tell you all now the name of the deputy involved in the vehicle, and I'm going to let you guys know it is a younger, newer deputy. The deputy that was involved with the accident, the deputy who intended to pull the vehicle over, was Henry County Sheriff's Deputy Tanner Streckley, Henry County Sheriff's Department. Tanner Streckley was appointed.
I think it's Strelecki.
Strelecki. Henry County Sheriff's Department. Henry County Sheriff's Office is proud to announce our 3 merit deputies, and I covered up the 2 who weren't involved in this. Tanner Strelecki were sworn in this morning. They have all completed their 40-hour pre-basic course and will be starting their 160-hour field training course with their FTOs. After successful completion of their field training, they will go to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy in Plainfield for another 600 hours of intensive law enforcement training. Let's wish these guys the best as they begin this noble career. This was a post made to the Henry County Sheriff's page on July 17th, 2023. So he's not yet to his year time. I do not know if he has been through the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. In the state of Indiana, you have to complete the Law Enforcement Academy before your year is up. So he could still be needing to go to the academy. He could be a graduate of the academy. I do not have an understanding of, in any sort, whether this gentleman has graduated from the academy or not. But he was in a vehicle and he was on his own. I will tell you that he is a citizen. Okay. He is a citizen of Delaware County. All right. So I want to be just upfront, let everyone know that he is a citizen of Delaware County. That will come into play here in just a moment. Okay. Along with that, the here's the picture from when he was sworn in with the sheriff and chief deputy sheriff last year on the 17th of July, 2023. Here is the release from the Muncie City Police Department. On 4/18/24 at 6:04 a.m., Delaware County 911 dispatch was notified of Henry County of a Henry County officer in pursuit of a vehicle entering Delaware County and then into the city limits of Muncie. There was then a report of a crash at North Tillotson Avenue and West McGalley Road involving the suspect vehicle and a third-party vehicle. Muncie police responded and called out our traffic reconstruction team to investigate the crash along with the Indiana State Police. This pursuit originated from circumstances outside of the city's jurisdiction. The Muncie Police Department was not involved in the pursuit. And as you will hear in just a few moments, that is the truth. There have been a lot of people all over social media today saying Muncie was involved. Muncie was involved. Muncie was aware and they were paralleling the pursuit and keeping abreast of the information, but they were not involved. You will actually hear the deputy that's pursuing talking about how I think he's the only one behind the vehicle for the majority of this. At this time, there is one confirmed deceased individual that is a passenger of the suspect vehicle. The driver of the suspect vehicle and the other third-party vehicle were both transported to IU BMH Hospital in critical condition. Okay, and then basically the state police also essentially released this statement, which more or less just gives you the same information from the other two informations that we read from the Star Press and from the city police. I will tell you what's interesting in this is there has been a release from the Indiana State Police. There has been a release from the City of Muncie. It's made the newspaper, but there has yet to be any kind of announcement or release from the Henry County Sheriff's Department. We've not heard from Sheriff Sproles, and it's very interesting that we have not heard from Sheriff Sproles. As anyone knows that follows the sheriff, this man has a hard time keeping his trap shut. He likes to be the first person out there talking, yapping, and making some big proclamation. I'm surprised he has not said anything. He might be learning something. You know, it's best to sometimes listen and then, speak. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But I find it interesting that he's not said anything. Okay, we're going to now listen to the pursuit here, and we'll let you guys hear this, and then I will let you guys listen to this. We'll talk about this, and then I'll start to break it down, and I'm going to start to give you my commentary here on what's going on here. Okay, so let me kick this over here. Okay. Yeah, right, Jeff. That can be a serious issue. All right, here we go. And for those of you that are not familiar with police code and whatnot, I'll talk you through that. Here we go.
That's 3330. Go ahead. I'm going to be signal 27 on a vehicle.
Okay, just briefly, what you're going to hear here is you're going to hear the deputy speak. He's going to come on the radio and he's going to key up his mic and he's going to say dispatch, which you're not going to hear the whole, you're going to hear it, that word cuts off. He's going to say dispatch 3330. That's his unit number. Then dispatch is going to come on and say, either go ahead or 3330. And he's going to say, I'm going to be signal 27 on the vehicle, which means he's pulling it over. All right.
That's 3330. Go ahead. I'm going to be signal 27 on a vehicle. I'm on State Road 3 in Delaware County. About a mile north of the county line. That's possible 1055. Can you start another unit my way, please? Curtis, 3330, just inside Delaware County on Sarah Street.
Now, when he says he's just over the line into Delaware County, it's important to know that this traffic started just right at about 6 o'clock. 5:50, 5:58, 5:59, 6 o'clock, somewhere right around in there. The Henry County Sheriff's Department, they run 12-hour shifts, and their shifts are from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. and from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Henry County 3330, which is this Tanner, whatever his last name is, Deputy Tanner here, he had worked the night shift, and he went 10:42. He went off duty at 5 a.m. So I don't know. I mean, I would have figured at this point he would have been either home or almost home. So I don't know if he had some extra stuff to do when he got off. Maybe he worked out for a little bit before he went home. He had a report to do. I have no idea about all of that. But he was for some reason still in the county, and he was just over the line into Delaware County as he called this in. And now that's the reason he's asking for them to start another unit his way. Now, what's going to be important here is we're going to want to listen for what his supervisors will tell him. And a supervisor is going to be any person that gets on, in my opinion, should be a person with a lower radio number than his. All right, let's listen.
19.
Henry County 19 gets on the radio.
15 will start off.
19 and 15 both say they're going to start that way.
Dispatch 30, they're not stopping.
There he's announced they're not stopping.
State Road 3 and 600 south in Delaware County, headed northbound. They're swerving all over the roadway. It's a gray sedan, Ohio plate, King Adam Young 6660.
3019, I'm at 3 and 100 North, Smash 19. You get Delaware County and Rousewell.
So there was another unit say he was trying to get to him as fast as he could.
What's traffic? Currently 80 miles an hour. Only one other vehicle in the area.
So at this point,
we're still headed northbound.
At this point, he's going 80 miles an hour, and there's low traffic. All right, that's okay.
Coming up on 500 south. Driving in the middle of the roadway. 90 miles an hour. just past 3 and Walnut, still northbound. 3 and Walnut, still northbound.
3019, can you give a vehicle description again?
Silver sedan with Ohio plate.
And so you guys know, when there's dead airspace, I'm going to jump through that. So you're not going to hear this in real time. We're going to jump through because there's a lot of dead air, and this would take forever if we didn't jump through. So you're going to hear happening a little quicker than what really happens.
Still northbound, coming up on 3 in the bypass. The 67 bypass. We're in heavy traffic, excess of 90 miles an hour.
Okay, right there, at just, I mean, honestly, about 5 minutes into the pursuit, he says the most important words that he can say. We are in heavy traffic. We are in heavy traffic. Speeds are in excess of 90 miles an hour. At this point, when I heard this, I was waiting for his supervisor, any supervisor, to say, all right, disregard, I'm calling the pursuit. Let's listen to see if that happens. I'm going to listen to that again.
We're in heavy traffic, excess of 90 miles an hour.
1519, what's your point?
Now, 15 is talking to 19. That's two different units, and they're asking, one of them's asking the other one, what's your location?
Crossing into Delaware County on 3 now.
And he says, I'm crossing into Delaware County on 3 now. And I'm thinking, holy shit, this guy's never going to catch up to him. So now we've got two different situations that could quite possibly be serious, deadly, dangerous in two different areas. We have the pursuit going on just entering into Muncie. We've also got now a sheriff's deputy running at high speeds, lights and sirens, just coming into the county. Either one of those could result in an accident. That's why cooler heads. Listen, I want to stop right now and say, listen, I am not somebody that is anti-police. I'm pro-police. I'm pro-good police. I'm pro-good police, and I am anti-bad police. I want police officers to be trained. I want them to understand the Constitution, and I want them to not violate citizens' rights, and I do not want them to damage people just because they're doing their job. Okay? I want police to be able to police in a way that they are using their brain. I do my very level best to not Monday morning quarterback situations, but common sense has to come into play here. I was waiting for when Henry County 15 asked for Henry County 19, what's your location? I was waiting for one of these guys, because keep in mind, their radio number is lower. It means they've been there longer than 30. I was waiting for one of these guys to call the pursuit, or for some other supervisor to get on and call it.
We're 3 and 29th, just ran a red light. Almost caused a 1050.
Okay, that's the next big thing that you'll hear. So for those of you that do not know where he's at, or for those of you that might know, he said we're at 3 and 29th. That's the road that Walmart South is on in Muncie. All right, that's 3 and 29th. It's right there by a school, by Southside. He said he almost caused a 1050. That's a vehicle accident. Heavy traffic, speeds excess of 90 miles an hour. He ran a red light. He almost caused a 1050 traffic accident. And this officer, when you're in a pursuit, I'm not blaming this officer, because sometimes when you're in a pursuit, adrenaline kicks in. And even if you're very well trained, you get this tunnel vision. That's why someone else that's not in the pursuit, or a supervisor or the radio car, someone back behind you needs to be thinking clearly and saying, okay, we're going to call this pursuit. Okay. But still, I hear no one doing that.
Still northbound. State Road 3 is turning into Macedonia in Muncie. Still northbound. Still northbound Macedonia from 17th. They're going at a high rate of speed.
High rate of speed. He's clearly in city, down city roads. Macedonia and 17th is a very highly traveled area.
They just ran another red light.
Ran another red light. That would have been at 18th in Macedonia.
Still northbound from 3 and 8. Check Macedonia and 8.
18th. Macedonia and 18th is where they ran the red light.
Just ran a stop sign.
Ran a stop sign there.
30 is Muncie or Delaware County in the pursuit.
Now, one of the other units just asked Henry County 30, Henry County 3330, the pursuing deputy, is Muncie or Delaware County in the pursuit with you? Do you have fellow officers from another jurisdiction with you in the pursuit? Let's hear the answer.
I don't have eyes on them anywhere.
I don't have eyes on them anywhere.
Currently on Burlington Drive, north from Lincoln.
So they've turned. He's on Burlington, north from Lincoln. He's heading into the heart of the city.
We're east on Ohio.
He's eastbound on Ohio.
Check, we're east on Main from Madison.
I was like, east on Ohio didn't make sense. He was east on Main from heading towards Madison.
Just ran a stop sign, almost caused another 1050.
Almost ran a stop sign there at Main and Madison. Almost caused another traffic accident.
Still eastbound on Main.
Still eastbound on Main.
From Walnut.
From Walnut.
15, 19, I'm going to cut down 29 to Madison.
Now, you've got these other Henry County officers that are still in the pursuit, still way behind, talking about cutting down all these other roads, trying to like come up somewhere and cut them off at the pass. Still wildly out of the pursuit, nowhere close.
10-4. Jackson from Maine.
Jackson. It's where Jackson and Maine, that thing happens.
Jackson and Nichols.
Jackson and Nichols.
Dispatch 19, have you been in contact with Muncie PD or Delaware County?
Now, Henry County 19 asks their dispatch, have you been in contact with Muncie dispatch?
Currently on TX, updating with every location.
We're currently on the phone with them.
We're eastbound from Tillotson.
We're eastbound from Tillotson.
We're on Westview Drive.
On Westview Drive.
We're at Jackson and University, headed north on Jackson.
Jackson doesn't go north. So he's a little confused in his directions there.
We're still on Jackson from Morrison.
Jackson from Morrison.
3019, there's just a Muncie PD guy at Memorial in Madison.
So now one of the other Henry County units says he saw a Muncie officer somewhere, but they're nowhere involved with the pursuit.
19, we're on Jackson, headed east towards Yorktown.
Okay.
19's clear. Myself and a Muncie PD guy at Walnut and 12th Street now.
Clear, we're on Jackson, coming up on Nebo.
They're on Jackson coming up on Nebo.
Heading north on Nebo Road from Jackson.
So they're now north on Nebo from Jackson.
Still north on Nebo.
North on Nebo.
Coming up on the Galliard.
Coming up on McGalliard.
We're headed west on McGalliard from Nebo.
Now, he says we're headed west on McGalliard from Nebo. He is wrong about that. They did not turn west, which would have been left. They actually turned right, which is east, which is going back into Muncie.
McGalliard coming up on Morrison.
1519, I'm going to cut down Martin Luther King to McGalliard.
That guy's on the other side of the city. I don't even know what he's doing.
He just ran a red light at Morrison, still westbound.
He just ran a red light at Morrison.
Eastbound from Morrison.
Yeah, he's eastbound. That's the first time he corrected himself. He's eastbound from Morrison.
He's going excess of 100 on McGalliard, still eastbound.
He's now in excess of 100 miles an hour eastbound on one of Muncie's busiest roads at 6:04 a.m., which is a busy time on a Thursday morning.
Eastbound from Tillotson.
All right, eastbound from Tillotson. Now, we're going to stop there just for 1 second. I'm now going to take you, before we get to the bad crash part, I'm going to take you and let you hear what Muncie was hearing during that time, okay? We're now going to go to Muncie, and we're going to listen to what Muncie traffic was hearing, all right? So here we go, all right? Here's what Muncie was hearing, and Muncie was getting this call. Keep in mind, Muncie was getting this call probably close to 10 or 15 minutes after the pursuit first started. Here's the first time Muncie Dispatch or Delaware County Dispatch talks about it. Here we go.
All units, just information, Henry County deputies in Delaware County.
72-1042.
All units, just information, Henry County deputies in Delaware County in a pursuit with a vehicle. They're at State Road 3 in the bypass, northbound. Any unit that's close can back them up.
1818, can you advise why they're pursuing?
Possible 55 and high speeds, 80 to 90 miles an hour.
I apologize. Give me a second. I'm trying to adjust the volume here. Give me 1 second. Damn it. Okay, sorry. Let me start that over.
Delaware County 18-4. You would take 1828.
Units are not to the alarm. You can disregard.
Pendleton 95-4, 1041. Pendleton 51-4, B 1041, B 1061 F. 94 C 1041. Pendleton.
32.
5140, 1041.
All units, just information,
There we
Henry
go.
County deputies in Delaware County in a pursuit with a vehicle. They're at State Road 3 in the bypass, northbound. Any unit that's close can back them up.
1818, can you advise why they're pursuing?
All right, it's hard to hear, but he said, "Can you advise why they're in pursuit?" Listen.
Possible 55 and high speeds, 80 to 90 miles an hour.
Possible 1055, which is possible drunk driver. They don't have, and the only reason that they think that is because the officer seeing them driving all over the road. So the only real infraction they have at this point is the fact that they were speeding and have observed them driving all over the roadway. Okay, That was dispatch telling MPD in Delaware County that. Listen to what's said now.
Or northbound Macedonia.
Dispatch says they're northbound Macedonia.
134.
Is Henry County coming into town?
Is Henry County coming into town?
Pendleton 95-4.
There's the state police.
95-4.
Are you clear that Henry County is in pursuit? In Delaware County, I think they're in the Muncie now.
Okay, now let's go on to the... All right, here we go.
All units, just information. Henry County deputies in Delaware County in a pursuit with a vehicle. They're at State Road 3 in the bypass northbound. Any unit that's close can back them up.
19, we're going to parallel.
18-4, we got units moving to this.
Okay,
34.
Or northbound Macedonia.
here we go.
One 34.
Is Henry County coming into town?
Is Henry County coming into town?
Pendleton 95-4.
Pendleton 95-4.
Are you clear that Henry County is in pursuit? In Delaware County, I think they're in the Muncie now.
Now listen.
19, we're going to parallel, but we're not going to get involved.
19, which is a supervisor in Muncie, says we're going to parallel, but we're not going to get involved. That's probably one of the smartest things that Muncie said on this day. Listen again.
19, we're going to parallel, but we're not going to get involved.
We're going to parallel, but we're not going to get involved.
Currently at base in Macedonia.
183, 1041 on the image end.
18-4, we got units moving to this. Where they at?
18-4.
Delaware County in Muncie at this time. Last known location was Macedonia in Burlington. And getting further, it's going to be a silver passenger car.
18-4 is a Delaware County supervisor, and he said that we've got people heading towards the area, but they're going to see what's going on.
Getting a return on it.
From the jail, J4.
Reference to Henry County's pursuit now eastbound Main from Walnut. Eastbound Main from Walnut.
East. Right, they're going west.
5132, Pendleton, are you clear?
Pendleton 11 is clear as well, being out from Randolph County.
So state police is coming to Muncie from Randolph County.
Nichols.
I checked that. They're westbound. They said eastbound, but they're westbound.
So Muncie's now correcting where he says we're east, we're west, we're east.
Going west or east?
On the west.
They are going west.
Right, do you know what they're pursuing him for?
Do we know what they're pursuing him for?
Oh, 1055.
Impossible 1055.
19, let Yorktown County know as well.
The Muncie supervisor says let Yorktown Police Department know and the county know.
Pendleton 5111. If it was a Walnut, now it's Hilton, it's got to be westbound.
State police is figuring out that their directions are screwed up.
11, they're heading.
At 95.5, I'm on signal 6, and they're also going to be dispatching on IMA.
Pendleton, what's their last name? 1020.
On University from Jackson.
University from Jackson.
Northbound Jackson.
Northbound
University from Morrison.
Northbound University. Jackson doesn't go north.
15, does the county have anybody route this?
Affirmative.
It said, does county have anybody coming towards this?
Westbound Jackson from Nebo. Westbound Jackson from Nebo.
Westbound Jackson from Nebo.
1831.
Johnson. I'm at 32 and Caroline, Yorktown. What's their update?
Pendleton State
Westbound
Police says
Nebo
they're in
approaching
Yorktown.
McGalliard.
They're now approaching McGalliard.
Westbound McGalliard from Nebo.
Westbound McGalliard from Nebo, and they figure out that's wrong.
He just turned east on McGalliard from Nebo.
He's eastbound on McGalliard from Nebo.
We're sure he's going east.
Now they're asking this
I
question again.
clarified right. He's coming up to Morrison. I think they got their directions messed up, but I got it right.
He's now they know that he's going east on McGalliard.
And the light at Morrison, still eastbound.
Ran the light up Morrison, still eastbound.
McGalliard from Morrison. Eastbound McGalliard from Morrison.
191050.
191050. Okay. Now we're going to go back and we're going to hear Henry County. That's Muncie. That Muncie just announced the crash. All right. Here we go back to Henry County, and you're going to hear it from Henry County's point of view.
He's going excess of 100 on McGalliard, still eastbound. Eastbound from Tillotson. Dispatch 1050, Tillotson. Tillotson to McGalliard, 1050, start medics. And we're Tillotson, McGalliard, 1050. Delaware County, does that mean that's higher now? Clear, I've got Muncie out with me.
Now Muncie is out because now they've got a car that they've been pursuing, that he's been pursuing. They don't know if there are weapons. They don't know who's in the car, what's going on. So now they're going to approach the car with caution in what's considered a felony stop, a high risk stop. Okay. So that's what's going to happen here.
Right, is everybody outstanding or is everybody in the vehicle?
Ask if everybody's in the vehicle.
We're unable to tell. We're waiting for additional units.
They're not approaching the vehicle yet. They're waiting for more people.
Okay.
3315 out with 30.
All right, so 3315 just got there.
Dispatch 19's out 30.
19 just got there.
$1519. Do we need less lethal up there?
They ask if they need less lethal up there.
Hey, firm, you may bring it just in case.
He tells him to bring it.
19 square. Were there multiple vehicles involved in the 1050 or just him?
Multiple
Two
vehicles.
vehicles. We got a Muncie officer out with the innocent vehicle.
He said a Muncie unit is out with the vehicle that was minding their own business. Okay.
We got a Muncie officer out with the innocent vehicle.
Now, there is quite a ways before you hear any more traffic from Henry County. All right, there's there's almost 4 minutes with no radio traffic.
3315, 3310, what's your status?
Now, there's 3310 who we've not heard. So 3310. Now, keep in mind, this is happening after 5 a.m. So the majority of the day shift supervisors should be listening to this. I don't know who was on yesterday. I don't know what time they come in, what time your day shift supervisors come in, but there was 3310. That's the first time I've heard him talk on the radio. Why did 3310 not advise 3330 to disregard at any point? All right. But he just asked them if they can advise what's going on.
10-15, it appears that he's been trapped in the vehicle. We attempted to make contact, but he's going to be stuck.
They're getting ready to make contact. It appears as though the driver's stuck in the vehicle. They haven't even made contact yet.
Just a single occupant that you can tell.
They ask if there was a single occupant that you can
For
tell.
a single occupant, they're going to have EMS come up. Appears that he's entrapped. Muncie PD just made advances on the car. They've got contact.
Muncie PD advanced on the car. Now, they think that there's one person in the in the car, but there's actually two. Now, there's another about 4 minutes before any more conversation is had.
That's one. Go ahead and mark me 41 around the Muncie.
All right. Now.
That's one. Go ahead and mark me 41 around the Muncie.
There is Sproles, and we hear the sheriff for the very first time on the radio at about almost 6:30 saying, "Mark me en route to Muncie."
That's one. Go ahead and mark me 41 around the Muncie.
Well, at this point, there's been an accident and possible, business for his family's funeral parlor. Got to get there.
Yeah, well, yeah, that very well could be. Now, I'm going to blow your mind here, folks, and I'm going to tell you, and this is the part that you need to understand. Come back up here real quick, Kate. What's this young man's name? What's this deputy's name?
Oh, God. Put it back up. I can't remember the spelling.
Let me get it up.
Strelecki.
Strelecki?
Yeah, I think so.
Strelecki?
Mm-hmm. Strelecki.
Deputy Strelecki,
Can I go away
3330.
again?
Yeah. Deputy Strelecki, 3330, who started this pursuit, was off duty when this happened. He was off duty. An hour off duty when this happened. Now, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Okay? We'll come back to that. We're going to listen to the rest of this traffic here. All right. So 2 minutes, 4 minutes. Okay. 8. 10 minutes. 12. 14. 16. Okay. I'll tell you what I was counting here in a minute. All right, the sheriff's now out at the scene. It took him 16 minutes to get there. The fact that it took him 16 minutes to get there, ladies and gentlemen, means that after the crash occurred and after the emergent part of this was over, I have a belief that the sheriff probably ran Signal 10, which in my opinion is inappropriate.
Check your phone. You
Yeah.
have anonymous information coming in.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm oh. Someone just brought up a really good point. Let's go back and take a listen to this. I've been so concerned with listening to the conversation that I did not even listen. Listen to this.
If you have it playing, you're not sharing it, dear.
3 in Delaware County, about a mile north
Now?
of the county line. That's possible
Can you hear it?
1055. Can you start another unit, my way, please?
Can you hear it? Listen. Where's his siren at?
19.
You should be hearing his siren.
15 will start off.
Dispatch 30, they're not stopping.
I don't hear his siren. Good catch, you one anonymous person who just messaged me.
State Road 3 and 600 south in
You should
Delaware
be going,
County,
woo,
headed
woo,
northbound.
woo, in the background right now.
They're swerving all over the roadway. It's a gray sedan, Ohio plate, King Adam Young 6660.
3019, I'm a 3 and 100 north, Smash 19.
Listen,
you get
you
Delaware
hear
County
it?
and Rousewell.
You hear his siren. Listen.
3019, I'm a 3 and 100 north, Smash 19. You get Delaware County and Rousewell.
Hear it? You heard the other officer's siren. Where's 33? Where is 3330 siren?
3019, you give a vehicle description again.
Look, you hear his siren. Let's listen.
Silver sedan with Ohio plate. We're in heavy traffic, excess of 90 miles an hour.
1519, what's your point?
Crossing into Delaware County on 3 now.
Okay, there the other officer's siren was.
We're 3 and 29th, just ran a red light. Almost caused a 1050. Still northbound.
Wait, was it there?
Almost caused a 1050. Still northbound.
Yeah, I can hear it there.
We're 3 and 29th, just ran a red light.
Yeah, I hear it there.
Almost caused a 1050.
I hear it there.
Still northbound Macedonia from 17th. They're going at a high rate of speed.
Yep, I hear it. Okay. All right. I hear it there. I hear it there. I wasn't hearing it for a minute, and that was someone else asked me that, and that was concerning. All right.
Hi, 03, did you have traffic? 1042. Hi, 03, is this 06?
Okay.
Dispatch 4360.
3350.
I'll be 10-8 from this, back in Rouse County.
That's fine.
So there was one Henry County unit heading back from the crash back to Henry County.
City cars for business alarm. 201 south.
And that's
201
essentially
south.
the end of the Henry
251,
County
correct.
traffic. Okay. Now I want to go back and listen to Muncie's, the end of Muncie's traffic in dealing with this. Listen to this, listen to this, and then we'll be done with this and I'll get on to the commentary. 191050. That's what Muncie said he's crashed.
Tired.
The guy here just bad.
You guys are mobile or close. Try to get up close to the guy and see if we need to assist with traffic.
19, we're going to need EMS. Also, I need the intersection shut off at Oakwood. I need Tillotson shut down as well as eastbound McGaggard.
53, I'll take Oakwood. 34, I got Tillotson northbound.
Five truck 7, Tillotson McGuire, 1050 PI.
1831 put me on this. I'm going to go down there from McGuire and Welling.
62, 1041.
5132.
No, you advise that the has ended.
The affirmative, the vehicle was involved in a 1050, still trying to ascertain information. Henry County units has not advised any further reference to the 1050.
17, I'm at the outside, Tillotson McGuire. 17, do you need me anywhere? So where?
Disregard.
Go ahead and continue since this is a multi-county detail involved in a 1050 PI at excess of 100.
Medic 5, truck 7.
That's clear on that.
Harder, just 43. We can't see into the car because of the hood from this direction yet.
Everybody just hold for a second. We'll get a team together and move up.
They're going to get a team together and advance on the car at that point.
19, we got EMS coming, correct?
Right.
They have EMS stage till they can find if there's any weapons or anything.
16 for EMS when they get here. Our first patient is going to be closer to the intersection of Tillotson. They pull up on Tillotson, we can get them to her.
94-2, you need to stop there. They got this guy out of the car. They don't know if he's armed.
I got a fire truck standing by Oakwood and McGuire.
I see they were staging.
They need to come around to Tillotson, please. They can't come down McGaggard. They have to find an alternate route.
EMS can proceed to...
He's at Bethel until...
Around that, Tillotson McGuire. Can you advise how many patients we have?
Just one for now. I'm trying to get further.
We got 2 unconscious. Start EMS right now. Have them come right up to us.
2 unconscious.
Dispatch Medic 5. Send me another ambulance. Officers are out the car. They're calling for the paramedics. Ready. So, go ahead and start a rescue as well.
1-1041.
Delaware County 9610.
Then McGuire for a PI.
19-143. Keep me on tack. 1043. Vehicle came to rest just south of Scheidler, north of McGuire. It's going to be Ohio plate King Adam Victor 6660. King Adam Victor 6660. Silver Dodge, I believe. 508 in yet.
Radio truck 7. Go ahead and start me a third ambulance, please.
Third ambulance.
2-5130. I'm clear on the situation.
Do we need any resources there?
I believe Muncie's going out there, crash team. One possible fatality. One's unconscious.
So this is the first time they've announced it's a fatality.
Passenger vehicle here at this intersection.
I'm clear. If they're going to shut that intersection down, you know how busy it's going to get. Or we have it closed
And then
down,
at this point, they shut the intersection down. This is like 6:15 in the morning. And at this point, they shut the intersection down. And the intersection was shut down until like 4:30. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to be very clear. Anytime there is a serious accident with multiple vehicles, with serious injury, definitely with fatality, the crash reconstruction team is called and you do a total reconstruction of the accident, of what happened before the accident, and it takes a good amount of time. They shut the road down for hours, 2-3 hours. I cannot tell you a time, and I have talked to multiple other law enforcement personnel today, folks that have been cops for years and years and years, that have said they cannot believe that the road was shut down from like 6 o'clock in the morning until 4 p.m. That's insane. That is a massive amount of time. Now, I know a lot of people are going to want to place the blame on the young deputy. And I mean, I do think that he needs to carry some of, the responsibility for the actions that he chose today. However, I have got to ask where the leadership was from the Henry County Sheriff's Department. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. We're going to have to get a total printout of who was the third shift supervision, who was on at the time, who was on like minutes before this scene, who was on during the day shift, who was the highest ranking official on the radio listening to this. Who was listening to this from Henry County and not saying, shut this down? You have an off-duty deputy with less than a year on starting a pursuit, and the pursuit starts already 1 mile out of his county. And he just continues along while 2 or 3 other deputies are chasing along behind him, at least 5 minutes behind him at 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. You've got 3 deputies from Henry County running Signal 10 lights and sirens all throughout the city of Muncie, while the city of Muncie has said, no, you know what happens when I'm the police officer and I'm in the car and I'm running and I run. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand. Indiana, most jurisdictions in Indiana used to have a policy. You chase them until the wheels fall off. Up to and until you're killing people, and then you probably need to reevaluate. And a lot of people have reevaluated it. Some people are saying, why did Delaware County not shut it down? How would they have shut it? Delaware County did shut it down. Delaware County said, we're not involved. The city of Muncie said, we're not involved. I'm not involved. We're not involved. The county's not involved. they didn't have any real way of telling this county cop that was rogue to shut it down. He got on the radio and he said, I don't see any other cops anywhere. I don't see any other units anywhere around. That should have been a clue to him. When Muncie says we're not going to get involved. What?
3315 is his supervisor, Matt Pierce.
Okay, so I'm hearing two different names. I can't confirm that because I asked another person who was very, very familiar with the Henry County Sheriff's Department, and he said that 15 was another. I've always thought that Matt Pierce was 3310. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But all I know is here's the bottom line. It doesn't matter what the number is. If Matt Pierce was not on the scene or not on the radio, who was? All right? Who was? And why were they not saying to shut this down? Look, folks, this wasn't a murderer. This guy didn't just murder 5 kids. This wasn't a school shooter. This was someone that was speeding and was over the road. Could Sheriff Skinner or Chief Sloan use their authority to call this off? I mean, so first of all, I mean, I think probably, but I mean, I'm just trying to think in what way that would have happened. Muncie City and Delaware County don't have Henry County radios in their cars. So they would not have had any way to just speak directly to 33 to 3033 to 3330. There would have been no way for the chief of police from Muncie or the sheriff to speak directly to him or any supervisor from Muncie. Essentially what they would have had to have done is they would have had to have given the directive to their dispatch to tell Henry County dispatch, the chief of police of Muncie is saying to end this. Now, the deputy would have had to make a decision at that point. Am I going to listen to the chief of police of Muncie because he doesn't really have authority over me, or am I going to do what I want to do and take that up with my supervisor? You know, I am not saying that Tanner would have done that. If Tanner would have heard from the chief of police or from some city unit, no one said shut it down. You know, I'm interested in what Sproles has to say here. I think he's going to have to be very careful here. At the end of the day, someone lost their life. And I've got to say, and this is sad, if this isn't in fact the truth, I have heard someone, and you got to be careful with posts like this because you never know what's true or not. Seems like something like this happens, and the first thing that happens is everybody knows the victim, and everybody knows, you know, I've heard things like this happen where there's been someone that's died, and it's been a Caucasian female, and someone's like, yeah, that passenger, that was my best friend's brother. He's a black guy, and it was my best friend's brother. And I'm like, dude, it was a woman that died. And they're like, you know, and then the story just changes. So I don't know what the validity of this is, but I have heard from someone that said that they posted on social media that the passenger was actually texting people someplace and saying, I want to get out of here. I don't want to die. I please help. I want to get out of here. I want him to stop or whatever the situation is. So I almost hope that didn't happen, because that's heartbreaking if that in fact happened. So someone on Facebook said the driver died. So as of the time I went to broadcast, all of the information I had was, number one, there was a bad guy vehicle. That's what we'll call the vehicle, the bad guy vehicle, the DART vehicle, running away from Henry County's lone deputy. And there was a driver and a passenger in that vehicle. And I have heard that the passenger of that vehicle died, and that there were 2 critical patients. The driver of the DART, so the suspect, and an innocent bystander. Now, about an hour before I went to broadcast, I heard someone say that a second person died, but I cannot confirm that. I have no proof of that. So I have no idea. So I'm amazed the police department can run rogue in another county and no one has the ability to stop it. That's, the ability is there, and the question is going to have to be asked and answered. And I'll ask it first. Henry County Sheriff's Department, why did no one stop this? Let me explain this to you. This deputy has less than a year on. They sometimes get tunnel vision. They sometimes make mistakes. Where were the supervisors to pull that kid's head out of his ass and say, hey, no, we don't do that. Your slip's showing, pull it back in. Get the hell back to your county, or go the hell home. That didn't need to be happening. That was nuts. So there's a lot going on with this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just absolutely heartbroken at the loss of life. There's people saying, well, that's what they get. They should have pulled over. Look, the passenger, man, can't pull over. The passenger is a passenger. The passenger is an innocent victim. For all we know, the passenger was a hostage. I'm not saying that. I'm just simply saying we don't know what was going on in that car. No. This was a 2-car crash. The DART, which was driven by suspect number 1 and passenger number 1. All right. It was vehicle number 1 was the DART, driven by suspect number 1 and passenger number 1. And then there was vehicle number 2, driven by innocent bystander number 1. The suspect's car, the DART, hit the Jeep. The driver of the DART that was being pursued was injured and taken to the hospital. The passenger died, and the driver of the Jeep, the innocent bystander, was taken to the hospital. Those were the 2 vehicles involved. Only that. I would be very shocked if that in fact was the case. I have seen someplace where did I see it? The pictures of the crash. And the police traffic all day long only talked about 2 vehicles. Let me see if I just got a picture of the crash here.
Can Hancock, Rush, Wayne, and Delaware counties put electrified barriers on the county lines and request all Henry County deputies to wear shock collars?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. I think they have that wrong with just the fact that there was three people hurt. I don't think it was 3 cars. I think there were only I've not seen anything else that has said that there were more than the 2 vehicles, the gray Dart and the white Jeep. Here's the pictures. Here, I've got pictures here.
Got notified around 6 a.m. that a Henry County deputy was chasing a car into Muncie city limits. 15 minutes later, near McGalliard Road and Tillotson Avenue, the suspect's car crashed into a Jeep that was not involved in the chase.
A passenger in the suspect's car died. Medics took the drivers of both crashed vehicles to the hospital in critical condition. Indiana State a police chase ended in a deadly crash at a busy Muncie intersection.
That chase actually started in Henry County. Muncie police say they're...
Yeah. Here's the vehicle that was on Tillotson. So we are actually on McGalliard. We are on McGalliard facing westbound. The police are in the intersection of Tillotson. So where my cursor is the south side of Tillotson. Where my cursor is now is the north side of Tillotson. Our back is to the east, and we're looking west on McGalliard. The gray Dart, this Dart right here, was driving this way on McGalliard, and it hit this white Jeep that was going northbound on Tillotson, knocking the Jeep here, and the Dart continued on a ways here. So it's just these 2 vehicles, and that's a horrible crash, and my thoughts and my prayers go out to the passenger and to the driver, to everyone involved. I mean, you know, this is going to be on the conscience of the young officer who did this. And he's going to have to deal with that. But I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that this is what comes from a sheriff's department or a city police department or a small town department or state police post where you have piss poor leadership like John Sproles. Listen, it wasn't just but a year ago that John Sproles was pounding his fist and talking about all of the chaos that small town departments and small town officers did when they were playing copper over in Indianapolis, or they were supposed to be in Greensboro, but they were in Newcastle, and people are saying, what are you doing pulling over cars all the way over on 465 and yada, yada, yada. And to that, John Sproles, I will say, what in the hell was your Henry County Sheriff's deputy doing? You had up to 3 deputies at one time driving around at high speeds in the city of Muncie like the freaking Keystone Cops. You have one officer pursuing a car at high rates of speed through heavy traffic. His words, not mine. His words, not mine. Running red lights, running stop signs, driving in the center of the road. And you have 2 other deputies that have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of experience on at least, driving at high rates of speed in other areas of the county, trying to catch up with these bozos. And I just have to ask, good Lord, what is the city of Muncie going to do to keep us safe from Henry County? Plus Sproles getting there 15 minutes. It's a 40-minute drive. Yes, absolutely, it's a 40-minute drive. I want to be very clear, okay? I want to be very clear. The Schumann Stadium, the Ball State Stadium, the address is 3300 North Tillotson. And I did a map quest from the stadium to Sproles' address today. And it said it was like a 29-mile drive. And because of the way it took to get there, it was in regular traffic, a 49-minute drive.
So he was on his way to join the fund.
Mm-hmm. Which is what I think, yeah. Crappy part is we can't get a county cop out here on the line, but they're going into Muncie. Yeah, right. Yeah. This isn't a movie, Sproles. There's real people in Muncie, Utah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What up here? At one time a few years ago, Muncie PD only had 4 night shift cars, 1 for every quadrant. That has increased, but not by months. Not by much. They have really done a good job. Muncie's the way that Muncie's broke up. I've not been involved with this in a while, so forgive me. The way that Muncie used to be broke up was Muncie's basically a square, and it's divided by Jackson is the north-south divider, Walnut is the east-west divider, and you have districts 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they would have various patrol cars in each district. They would have a rover, a north rover, a south rover, a canine car, and then you would have the supervisors. And so you would have the district cars, and then, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, there have been times when it was very sparse. Now, they have increased that some, but I don't even know the actual shift of Muncie anymore. It's on 12-hour shifts. Everybody's went to these 12-hour shifts, and I've gotten out of that. I want to know how many miles the pursuit traveled. They went so far west before coming back east. That's exactly true. Here's the thing. I also talked to someone today who said that there is GPS units on all of the Henry County cars. And so I think I'm going to let the investigation run its course. And then essentially here in the next week or so, I'm going to file a records request for the GPS of 3330's vehicle, of 3319's vehicle, of 3315's vehicle, and of 331's vehicle during this time. So I am definitely going to check on that. As far as the Henry County insurance, yeah, there's an update, and Sproles and his team says, welcome, insurance company. Welcome to Henry County. Yeah, they just started their insurance, the deal with the new insurance. They just started that like at the beginning of this month, basically. The end of last month, the beginning of this month. And so, nothing like being brought in with a very big, warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, this was sad. This was uncalled for. This did not have to happen. There's a whole bunch of Monday morning quarterbacks. Pursuits are a thing that happen. They should happen less than they do. There are ways that you can handle criminal investigations without a pursuit. There's a way that you can handle arrests. They had the plate. He had the plate within 2 minutes of calling in the stop. They could have said, okay, not today, we'll get you. There's plenty of ways to do this. There's plenty of ways to handle your relationship with other departments. You don't come into months. Now, thank God that, this was a tragedy all the way around, and it would be a tragedy. But think about the situation if they would have hit school children, if they would have hit people walking to school, if they would have hit Ball State students, if the fatality would have been some 9-year-old walking to the bus stop. Just the level of insanity that went into this action. And this action on behalf of the deputy in the car that did this, on behalf of the supervisors, I want to know that the protocol was met. I want to know that this deputy took a blood draw. I want to know because let me tell you, here's what I heard. I heard that 3330 went 1042, and which is end of tour of duty, and was heading back to the county. Now, to me, what I would have liked to have known is, just very much like an officer involved shooting. Someone should have came up to him. Someone should have stayed by his side, taken him to do a blood draw. Sproles loves to do this and then blame the city, county council, and the mayor. Yeah, right. Absolutely. I imagine that the 38-year-old woman who was critically injured is someone's mother, someone's daughter. Absolutely. Someone's sister, yeah, absolutely. It's just, this is horrible. So that's the situation. I've got tons more to say about it, and there will be more to say in the coming days as more information comes out. I will follow this investigation from here until the end, and we will talk about it. At the end of the day, Sproles wears the blame for this. This is a culture of carelessness that Sproles is teaching. This is a Sproles fanboy. This is someone I've heard that he's a good guy. I've heard people say he's a good kid. He could be a good law enforcement officer, but he looks up to Sproles. He's one of the guys that Sproles brought on. He just came in July of last year. So he's under Sproles. He hears the brainwashing. He hears what Sproles has to say. He sees how Sproles does things. And, it's like we don't ask for permission. We ask for forgiveness. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. That's the other thing, which was the young man that was in the passenger seat that died today. He has a horrible situation in his family where a lot of the young men in his family end up dead before they should. So that's horrible. Henry County Sheriff's pursuit really put Muncie, Delaware County citizens at high risk for additional car accidents, possible pedestrian ran over. It was not good. It was absolutely not good. I would hope that the prosecutor maybe would come out and be very critical of this and speak critically of this and send a clear message to the sheriff and to the deputies of Henry County. I don't know if this is a situation because this deputy is a citizen of Delaware County. He felt like it's okay. I can play Johnny Badass in my home county. If you want to be a deputy in Delaware County, quit Henry County, come to Delaware County. I feel like that would have been a better position. You would have been better trained if you would have done that. You definitely would have had better leadership. Is there any information on the dude that was running from the cops? What was his deal? As far as I know, I don't know that. I don't know. I know that there were a couple people said they went to school with him, that they knew him from school, but he was from Grant County, so I don't know. I don't know. I will file a records request for the dash cam. I will see how long, if at all, it takes me to get it. It'll be interesting to see if he even had the dash cam on. Did he have it on? Was it on? Was it not on? You know, who knows? Yeah, that's very true. That's what's weird, you know, and maybe the stress could have done that. But I want to tell you, if you're under that much stress, that it's making you lose yourself in, you know, it's not like he was completely turned around. Henry County's here, and then Delaware County's just right on top of it. So when you're in Henry County and you're on 3 going north, to the left of you is the west, and to the right of you is the east. Well, just because you drive 20 minutes north, the left of you is still the west, and the right of you is still the east. So I hope we can get the dash cam. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Some situations occur in the police cars where you turn the lights and sirens on and the dash cam turns on. Some of them don't. It just depends. I don't know how Henry County is set up, and so we're going to have to see. I don't know if their body camera was activated or not. We'll just have to see. We're very early in the we're very early in the investigation portion of this, and so I will see to all of that. I will give you guys more information. Let's see. I'm not sure where exactly it started. I know that when he called in pursuit, when he said he was in pursuit, okay? And before we move on, we're getting ready to move on to the other story, but I'll let you guys hear this one last time so we'll know which way we can go on this. I'm going to let you guys hear and you guys decide what he says.
That's 3330. Go ahead. I'm going to be signal 27 on a vehicle. I'm on State Road 3 in Delaware County, about a mile north of the county line. That's possible 1055. Can you start another unit, my wife, please?
In my opinion, he's saying that he is inside the Delaware County line, a mile north of the Delaware County line. Period. Now, I know how that goes. Does he mean that, you know, he turned on the vehicle in Henry County? Look, and does anything stop him from making a traffic stop in Henry County? Absolutely not. Had the guy pulled over and he would have done that and he would have got out and, you know, just been boom, bang, pow, it would have been no issue. But, you know, that's that. So, yeah, 700 South. Absolutely. Because the very next thing he calls in, the very next crossroad he gives is 600 South. Absolutely. Yeah. So, all right, that's that. And I will keep you guys posted on that and we will know you'll know what happens when I know what happens. I will release the information as soon as I possibly can, and I will keep you guys posted with what I hear from there. It's a horrible situation, horrible story. I wish it wouldn't have happened, but this is what happens when you have piss poor leadership in the county. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the next topic, and that is the breaking news out of Muncie. In Muncie, we heard some breaking news this morning. Chess moves. The city of Muncie gets a new animal shelter director. Holy crap, that's amazing. They just fired the animal shelter director. Did you think that they maybe had this worked out ahead of time? Does it seem like maybe something was going on? It's really, really, really crazy in kind of how this played out. I was shocked when I saw who it was. This is what boggles the mind. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Mr. Joshua Taulbee. Muncie press release says, for immediate release, Thursday, April 18th, 2024, Joshua Taulbee hired as Director of Muncie Animal Care and Services. On Thursday, the City of Muncie announced the appointment of Joshua Taulbee as the new Director of Muncie Animal Care and Services, MACS. Taulbee is a lifelong resident of Muncie, graduated from Ball State in 2015, and has worked for the Delaware County for the last 7 years. He serves in multiple board positions and has a strong background in budget and project management. I'm passionate about serving my community, commented Taulbee. His primary goals include building a comprehensive understanding of each role within MACS, developing stronger working relationships with other shelters and animal rescues within the community, and to hire an assistant director. Ding, 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 ding. All right, folks, get out your checkbooks. We're going to need to be paying for this because right now the assistant director position has been unfunded. That's right. The line item for the assistant director has been zeroed out. So look what we will be dealing with come budget time. I say we need less chiefs and more cooks. That might be beneficial because we are having a serious issue at the animal shelter. He goes on to say, no, he doesn't go on to say, well, he probably would, but Ridenauer says, we're excited to bring Josh on board. Of course you are. He's going to bring a new perspective, and we know he'll work hard to keep things running smoothly. Taulbee's role will begin on April 30th, folks. That is essentially a week and a half from now. Now, what shocks me about this is Mr. Taulbee here, to my knowledge, other than being a human and being basically a mammal himself, he has, in my opinion, no real experience in the animal welfare, animal health care field. He's not a veterinarian. He's not a member of PETA. He's not out here doing, the work, saving the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. He's just a man that has political aspirations, folks. That's what it is. Okay. So I want to kind of let you guys know where we are. So this is interesting, folks. We have a gentleman in the comments that says, I applied for the position. I have a lot of experience with, very disappointed someone else without animal control and care experience wasn't looked at. Absolutely. So first and foremost, I want to tell everybody this because I've heard a lot of people saying wrong things. This position is a department head position. So technically, under the law, Ridenauer did not have to publish it. He did not have to let anyone know. Ridenour could have went home and he could have looked in his secret closet of fun and pulled out a name and came back in and said, this is who I'm hiring. Technically, that's what he could have done. It's one of the department head positions. To the victor goes the spoils, like the police chief, the fire chief, and on and on and on. This is a position that he could appoint without council approval, without anyone else's approval. All right, so just to get that out there. Now, I want to say that doesn't make, I'm not being an apologist for Ridenour. I am still very concerned about this appointment, about this hiring position that that they've given him. This, in my opinion, a higher position than what Taulbee really needs. His press release said that he's worked for the last 7 years in the Delaware County building. The majority of that time was spent in the Delaware County Clerk's office. Okay. This guy, ladies and gentlemen, has been known to be a quote unquote up and coming GOP party. There's for you, Mike Jones, a GOP party, a grand old party person. There's 3 parties. All right. This kid has been someone who has had political aspirations. He's wanted to be somebody. He's wanted to make himself somebody. He has been in my opinion, the quote unquote heir apparent for the Delaware County Clerk's position. He has worked in the clerk's office. Specifically, he has worked in the role of the voters registration officer, and he's kind of been he's been the clerk's right-hand man, if you will, in the voters registration office. And he's somebody that I have talked with and dealt with on multiple occasions. I have always known that he was very politically oriented, that he wanted to be in politics. He loved politics. He thought it made him somebody. He loved working for the county building. He loved being a member of the Republican Party, and he liked being seen as someone who had the information and had the ear of the party chairman and had the ear of the clerk. All right. And he had that job. He was doing his thing. And then the summer and fall of 2022 came. And the fall turned into winter. And he announced that he wanted to run for Muncie City Council. And honestly, I was kind of shocked. Because, number one, I knew that he wanted to be Delaware County Clerk. So it was odd that he was wanting to run for Muncie City Council. But then he quickly stated it for what it was. He wanted to run to get the experience and to get his name out, which you hear a lot of people say. What's odd, though, is he could have waited and ran for county council or something like that, because the city and the county does not get along. The city and the county are at odds with one another. They are at odds. And even though Ridenour is a Republican and the Dan Addicts love Ridenour and the Dan Addicts like a lot of the other family members, the Republican Party, they like various people in the Dan Addicts movement, but they have an issue more or less with the mayor. They have not liked the mayor, and, you know, he's not their favorite person, if you will. So Taulbee decided he was going to run for Muncie City Council. I thought he might run for at-large. No, he wanted to run for a district race. He ended up running in his home district of District 2. That meant his opponent was none other than the she-devil herself, she that shall not be named, Nora Powell. All right. And Taulbee ran against Nora. Taulbee kept saying things like, this is the way I want to do this campaign. I'm going to hit it hard. I'm going to hit her where she least expects it. I'm going to come out swinging. I can beat her. I've got the whole power of the party behind me. And then immediately the election occurred, January, February, March, and I saw this kid doing nothing. He was not running a race. He was not walking. He was not going door to door. He was not putting out very many signs. He was talking to the same Republican sycophants that go from one Republican event to the next Republican event to the next Republican event. And those people were already more than likely going to vote for him. So it was a waste of time. He wasn't out working hard for the vote. And I told him over and over and over and over and over, you are not going to beat Nora Powell. Nora Powell is going to beat you into the dirt. And she did. She beat him into the dirt. What's crazy to me, though, is I feel that the higher-ups maybe took offense to the fact that he couldn't win or that he didn't pull higher numbers than what they felt he should have. Because after that loss in November, very quickly thereafter, December or January, boom, boom, one of those two times, there was some kind of a breakdown between him and the Republican clerk, and he was then out of the Delaware County Republican held clerk's office. And he was now under the thumb of the party chairman in the Delaware County Auditor's Office. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means he was in a whirlwind of mess because the auditor's office in Delaware County is currently and has been in complete chaos. And Taulbee was doing some kind of job for the auditor. I can tell you, I have no beef with him. I have no problem with him. I don't know if he likes me or doesn't like me. We've always gotten along before, but I noticed today that at some point he has blocked me on social media. Okay, whatever. But I know something's up. And I think maybe he knows that I know that something's up, and that's why he's doing this. That's why he blocked me and he's not communicating. Whatever. But I do know a couple of things, and those things are, number one, he always thought that he was going to be the next Delaware County clerk. That was just something that he did not question. He knew that he was going to be the next Delaware County clerk. He ran for Muncie City Council District 2, and he got his ass handed to him. It was horrible. And then after that loss, there was some kind of falling out with Rick, and bang, he's in the auditor's office with the party chairman. And then in pretty quick order, bang, he's out of there, because today, on Thursday, April 18th, it is announced that he's going to be the new animal shelter director. Now, this is chess, ladies and gentlemen, moving pieces back and forth. What do I think about this? It's very strange to me. Very strange to me, because normally when you move pieces on a chessboard like that, it's sometimes you might look like you're in a losing move, but it's to benefit you later on down the road. That's not what's going on here. That's not what's going on here. That's very good possibility, Stumblefoot. And you're exactly right, 4 days.
I put up a couple of things in the overlays for you.
Oh, good. Goody, goody, goody. Let's see what we've got here. Ooh, let's look. Oh, yeah. Look here. Here was his run. He received 710 votes to Nora's 1,100. That's so amazing. Who is that one person? Who is that one person? That's crazy. What weirdness. So there was his run. So I think they quickly realized this is not our up and comer. He's not going to be the next clerk. He does not have the work in him to do it. And we gotta cut ties with him. I think that's honestly what they did. He's always been a kiss ass to Mayor Ridenour. He's always been first in line to agree with Dan, to do whatever Dan wanted. I would say that he is a high grade Danatic, a cheerleader for Ridenour. He's right up there with some of the better Danatics. But he's also walked that line because he's been a member of the Republican Party. He's been a member of the Young Republicans, and he's always felt that he was a mover and a shaker within the Republican camp. But what's odd about this move is Ridenour, while he's respected by his people, he is not respected by the party. The party does not like Dan. They don't like that he's pushing Stephen Brand. They don't like other things that Dan has done. And so they are very cold to Dan. So I think this moving Josh Taulbee to the animal shelter, it's not a political move in the sense that they're going to try to bring the county and the city closer with the animal shelter. They're not going to try to do any more work or get any more funding because all that stuff's not there. I fully believe this is happening Alva, yes, you're right. That's hilarious. I truly believe that he was moved into the animal shelter director's position for one reason. And that reason is he will not tell Dan no. He will not tell Dan no. He will not stand up to Dan, and he will do whatever Dan wants. And I will tell you, for the last several years, at least the last 2, I have heard rumors that Ridenour has went to the various animal shelter directors and said, how many animals can we kill and still keep the designation of a no-kill shelter? And I want people to understand what that means. You, as an animal shelter, can be designated no-kill and still put some animals down if they fit certain criteria and if you don't go above a certain number. And the rumor has been that Dan has wanted to go to these people and say, what are the numbers we're at? How many more animals can we put down and still keep the designation as no kill? And I believe that a lot of the other directors have been incensed by that because they've been like, no, we're not killing any more animals than we just absolutely must for one reason or another. And I believe the last time he did that with the old director and she said no, ladies and gentlemen, I think that was for a reason. Now, Someone from one of the Delaware County groups asked him, they tagged him and asked him if he knew of any plans to change the max into a no-kill shelter. And Taulbee gave the answer, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Well, that's interesting because he's saying that now. He's saying, no, the shelter's not going, that's not going to happen. But I'm telling you, as sure as I'm sitting here, he will not tell Ridenhour no. If Ridenhour comes to him in 6 months, if Ridenhour comes to him in 3 months, if Ridenhour goes to him on the 1st of May and says, hey, we're going to be changing the designation around here, Taulbee will say, okay. He'll say, okay. All right. I want to show you just for a little bit of an understanding. Here was his salary in the auditor's office, and I would say it was probably very close to his salary in the clerk's office. I would say that he would have made a lateral move. He, I don't think it would have specifically went up, and I'm pretty sure that it wouldn't have went. I'm sure that it wouldn't be much difference. Okay, so there is the auditor's salary, $36,322. Here is the salary as director of the animal shelter, $81,264.55. So he's going to get a pretty big bump in his salary, okay? Or he should. I don't know, I don't know what exactly they promised him and what the deal is, but I'm assuming that he's going to have, a pretty large bump. He's going to be going from 36,000 to 81,000. You can't really have an issue with that. And then, ladies and gentlemen, when Dan says, hey, Taulbee, you went from making 36,000 to making 81,000, and I'm just wanting you to kill a few more animals, I don't believe Taulbee's going to say no. I want to see the salary ordinance for the animal shelter director because it appears to me that they have overpaid it. See if I can pull that up while we're doing this. 2024 budget. There's been a lot of commentary about this back and forth, and it's been fairly interesting to watch. One of the things that is most interesting is this. Ed Carroll, which is the auditor for Delaware County and the party chairman, he said, I would like to congratulate Josh on his new role. When he came to me earlier this week with this opportunity, I was excited for him with this new role, nearly doubling his salary. We will miss him in the auditor's office, but we wish him all the best for the future. Look, as long as their buddies are getting paid, they don't care. Is he good friends? Will he be good friends? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like we're going to see some changes coming, but I feel like this is being done for one reason and one reason only. Dan wants to take steps to, number one, kill more animals, and number two, I think in time, Dan would like to privatize the animal shelter. Look, I'm not necessarily saying that's a good idea, bad idea, one thing or the other. What I will say is, if Ridenour goes to Taulbee and says, I want to start killing more animals, and Taulbee agrees, you will see protests and insanity like never before. Muncie and Delaware County has a massively large animal welfare lover organization and group of people, and they will be on Ridenour and all of this.
Well, I mean, do you remember the protests that they had before when the city council wasn't funding the animal shelter to be able to do dog food?
Yeah.
That was insanity too.
Yeah.
They start killing more animals?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I was a part of that deal with when that was Nora. Nora didn't, they set on the budget that wasn't going to, they were going to zero out the line item for food. Let me see here. I'm going down, Sarah. Or who's on here? Who asked for that? It wasn't Sarah, it was Annie. I don't know. Well, someone asked for it. Let me see here. I'm on a different page, so I can't see who's doing what. I'm going down here and getting the I'm getting the salary. Oh, animal control. Salaries and wages superintendent. Kate, when was that? When was the
what?
When was the Katie Wolf salary from that you pulled? Was that from 2023?
That was 2023. That's what she was paid. It's not necessarily salary. That's what she was paid.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to see if I can show this. I don't know if I'll be able to do this. I'm going to try.
So we've got Annie Nominus on here was saying that the salary ordinance for that position is 54.6.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Okay. That's what I'm looking
how
at.
they get paid more than that.
I am looking for 2024. Wait, what did she call it?
Huh?
I'm looking at 53,550. I'm looking at 53,550.
She's saying
for animal shelter superintendent, 53,550.
Oh, no, Andrew, they're not talking about actually changing the designation. They're talking about pushing it to the very limit of that designation.
Yeah. That's what I think.
They don't want to change it. They just want to push it to the very limit of what they can.
Yeah, that's what he's been asking.
Can exterminate without being made to change the designation.
Because there's a number that they can pop and not be an issue. And so
would someone on salary be getting paid overtime?
No.
Travel reimbursements?
No. Let me see here. Right, here we go. Okay, here it is. is.
I'm gonna pop back down.
Yeah, you're fine. Bear with me, folks. We've got just a couple more things, and then I'm gonna talk about the end story, and then we're gonna wrap up. I knew this would be a big show, but we had a lot to talk about. And all right, here we go. Okay, right here it is. Animal Control Superintendent 53 555, and this is for the 2024 year. So, that's there we are. That's for the 2024 budget. So, that's that. Okay, I'm going to pull that down. And so we'll have to see what goes on with this. I think that this is happening for other reasons than doubling Taulbee's salary. I think that this is happening for other reasons than trying to bring the city and the county together. I think that this is happening solely because Dan knew, number one, damn, Taulbee didn't make it to the city council, and he really wanted it. And damn, he's been taken out of the clerk's office, which he loved. And, if we bring him over and we pay him this, he will not be able to say no, period. I've been trying to find the list of the board of directors for the animal service. Still searching. I'm sure there are written guidelines for euthanasia at the shelter. I am sure it does not include putting down healthy animals. Oh, yeah. No, it would not. The criteria would be something like dangerous animals, unhealthy, things like that. Absolutely. You're exactly right. But I could imagine a world in which stupid things could occur, and that's what scares me. So that's that. We will obviously be following this story and keep you up to date with what's going on. Of course, as I said, Josh Taulbee said, no, there's no way that we will do this. We will never increase the kills, and we will never remove the no-kill shelter designation, yada, yada, yada. He's saying that today. He's saying that on the 18th. His job doesn't start till the 30th, and wait until the shit hits the fan and he's pushed in that direction. That's when we will see what just exactly he's made of, what's real and what's not real. And we will then be able to ask him at that point, hey, did you mean this when you said this? That's what I think will be different. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the very last story that we have to talk about takes us back to Henry County. We're going to be looking at the Courier-Times. And ladies and gentlemen, this is such an amazing, amazing story. This is... this is so weird. So, do you guys all remember last week when after my court hearing with Sproles, I came home and we did an episode. Yeah, I don't know what exactly the episode was number was. It was called Post-Mortem. And we talked about what was happening with everything. All right. And in that episode, I told you a little bit about the goings on of the court day and meeting Sproles and yada, yada, yada? Well, apparently, the Courier-Times, which is a state-ran media organization, they are there to basically print happy-go-lucky stories for the bosses, whoever the bosses are. And well, that's just what happened today. I got someone that called me and told me that I happened to make the front page of the Newcastle Courier-Times today. And I was like, what? No way. How did that happen? Well, let's just look together. All right. Settlement not reached in case between sheriff, podcaster. Telephone conference scheduled July 22nd. It's like they make such a big deal out of these dates. I just wonder, number one, has the sheriff or has the reporters of this paper, have they ever looked up or been involved in or checked out what goes on in a federal court case? That there are long periods of nothingness that happens, and there's all these nonsensical court dates that occur that I don't even know about. The attorneys flesh it all out, and then I'm notified when something important happens. Okay? So there's no big deal, first of all, that there's a phone conference. It's basically going to be talking about what goes on because my attorney is going to depose Sheriff Sproles sometime in the next week. So they'll just talk about that. I also told you that the judge told us that the hearing, the trial date for this was set for March of 2025. So the sheriff has some kind of weird, he's got this weird hang up where he needs to let everybody know that this is almost done. This is going to be swept away and I'm going to be vindicated. Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon, buddy boy. All right. So here's the article. A federal court case involving Henry County Sheriff John Sproles and area podcaster Kristopher Bilbrey remains ongoing. A settlement conference took place on April 9th, though no settlement was achieved. That's normal. Both parties appeared at the settlement conference in person and with their respective counsels. The Courier-Times reached out to attorneys representing both Sproles and Bilbrey for the comments regarding the settlement conference. I can confirm that Sheriff John Sproles appeared at his settlement conference in his official capacity as sheriff. Where's the next? Where did it say it was? Let me take a look here. 4A. I can confirm that he showed up as sheriff of Henry County, which is the capacity in which he has been sued by Kristopher Bilbrey, said Sproles' attorney of the Evansville-based firm Kahn, Dees, Donovan and Kahn, LLP. The discussion of the parties and their counsel with the magistrate judge during the settlement conference is confidential, so no further comment regarding the settlement conference will be provided, Sproles' attorney said. Bilbrey's attorney is Gavin M. Rose, senior staff attorney for the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU of Indiana. We did have a settlement conference in this case, Rose said. This is not unusual, as federal courts set settlement conferences in the overwhelming majority of lawsuits. Settlement was not achieved, and the case will proceed forward. Because settlement conferences are confidential, there is nothing further that I am able to say about the case. Case background. In July of 2023, the American Civil Liberties Union filed a lawsuit in the United States District Court, Southern District of Indiana, Indianapolis Division. The lawsuit alleges Sproles deleted a Facebook comment and blocked Bilbrey, the commenter. The commenter. The ACLU claimed this is a violation of the First Amendment and the U.S. Constitution, arguing that the Facebook page in question was Sproles' official Henry County Sheriff's page and a public forum. Sproles is arguing the Facebook page was a continuation of his original 2022 Sproles for Sheriff campaign, updated to include new information after he won the election, and is not an official government social media page subject to the First Amendment protections. According to the original complaint filed on July 20th, 2023, Bilbrey commented on a video Sproles had posted to the page, complaining that Sproles had reposted a video excerpt that Bilbrey had recorded without permission, that Sproles had reposted the video of one of my videos without permission and out of context. Sproles allegedly deleted Bilbrey's comment and blocked him from the page. The ACLU lawsuit is asking the federal court to make Sproles unblock Bilbrey and any others who have been blocked from that Facebook page. The suit is also asks for nominal damages, court cost, and attorney's fees. Sproles filed a motion July 31st, 2023, requesting a jury trial pertaining to the issues and raised claims by Bilbrey and the ACLU. Great. I love a jury trial. Fantastic. On October 3rd, 2023, a motion was filed on Sproles' behalf to stay or temporarily stop the court proceedings. On November 2nd, 2023, Magistrate Judge Mark J. Dinsmore denied the sheriff's motion. Podcast and sheriff's response. This is where it gets interesting. Bilbrey posted a podcast following the April 9th settlement conference. During that YouTube video titled Postmortem, Bilbrey alleged that Sproles wore his sidearm into the courtroom for the settlement conference. Okay? That is simply not true, Sproles' attorney said. Sheriff Sproles checked in with the security guards and placed his sidearm in the security locker at the basement entrance of the federal building. He retrieved his firearm from the security locker when we left the building after the settlement conference. All right? Keep that in mind. Bilbrey claimed that before court proceedings began, the parties introduced themselves. Bilbrey said he was polite to the sheriff, but the sheriff did not reciprocate that behavior or shake his hand. I did not offer my hand to be shook, and Sproles did not refuse. And I will tell you where I think that they got that quote from, but you can hear as day if you listen to the actual video, and I'll play it here in one moment. Contrary to Bilbrey's statements, Sheriff Sproles did not at all act inappropriately during any part of the settlement conference, his attorney said. We'll get back to that in a minute. Hold that. Future court dates. According to online court records signed by Magistrate Judge Mark J. Dinsmore, a telephonic status conference is scheduled to take place at 11:30 a.m. on Monday, July 22nd. All right. I want to come up here to this part right here. During the YouTube video titled Postmortem, Bilbrey alleged Sproles wore his sidearm into the courtroom for the settlement conference. Listen to me. I am very familiar with seeing people in uniform. I am familiar with guns. I'm familiar with what it looks like when a person carries a gun. I'm familiar with what it looks like when a person sits down in a seat, specifically the seats that we were sitting in, when they have the butt of a gun sticking out. I know how people have to finagle chairs to not catch their holster on the chair going down, or to catch the butt of the gun when coming up out of the seat, yada, yada, yada. I am taking a step to verify what I said and to work on proving that this is some kind of nonsensical bullshit. I'm just going to keep that part there, but I'm letting you know, if for some unknown reason, somehow I was skewed and wrong, I'll go in and make sure I'm not having an aneurysm. Because I am pretty damn certain that the dude wore the gun in with the rest of his get up. All right. I'll keep you all posted with that. That's all I'm going to say about that. Moving on to the next part of that article here, where it says Bilbrey claimed that before the proceedings began, the parties introduced themselves. Bilbrey said he was polite. This is what I said. When they came in, they sat there, we sat here. We were separated by two different tables. My attorney spoke up first, and he introduced himself to the attorney, and he said, "Hello, I am Gavin Rose, ACLU senior lawyer, representing Mr. Bilbrey." He introduced himself to the attorney, and then he introduced himself to the sheriff. Okay? It was what it was. No one shook hands. They just spoke. They were separated across the distance of a room. I was seated. They were in the process of sitting down. Sproles' attorney then said hello to Gavin, and then he said hello and introduced himself to me, at which time I said, "Hello, I'm Kristopher Bilbrey," I spoke, and that was that. At that point, Gavin and Sproles' attorney had talked, and Gavin and Sproles had talked. I had spoke with Sproles' attorney, and the only two people that had not spoke was myself and Sproles. And I figured, just to be polite, I would shake my head, nod, and at least say, like, "Hi, hello, how are you?" Something like that. And I think I said, "Hey, hello," or "Hi, how are you?" or "Hello, how are you?" And Sproles more or less just looked at me with that Sproles look in his face and does that thing with his mouth. And he just like turned away. And what I said was in the video, and you'll hear that his behavior and the way that he did that, I thought was rude. I thought he was being a dick. And I thought that there was no call for that. That is my objective feelings. That's my opinion on the situation. When it says Bilbrey claimed that before the court proceedings, yeah, I'm telling you how I felt. I was polite, and I felt that the sheriff was not. He did not reciprocate that polite behavior. All right. It says, contrary to Bilbrey's statement, Sheriff Sproles did not at all act inappropriately during any part of the settlement conference. I was only with me, my attorney, the sheriff, and his attorney for a total of, once the thing got started, because there was a little bit of chaos beforehand trying to get someone on the phone. But all told, we weren't together in the same room longer than like 40 minutes. All right. So I don't know how he acted during the rest of the ordeal. But when we were together, I wasn't saying he was inappropriate. I never claimed he was inappropriate. I would never be like, oh, the sheriff was inappropriate. To me, inappropriate would be like yelling out, cursing out, flipping the court secretary's hair, or shooting spitballs at me or my attorney. He was never inappropriate. I did not make that claim. I just said I felt he did not reciprocate being polite. He just acted kind of like a dick, and I thought that was inappropriate. All right. I made kind of I kind of talked about like how his behavior was similar to the actions where you'll be shaking someone's hand and you'll stick it out, and as they go to shake, you pull it away and say, too slow. That kind of dickish move. That's what his behavior was like, but we never shook hands. I'm just saying it was like that was his type of behavior. Okay. If the Courier-Times actually, in fact, ever watched the video, that they never called and asked me, wait a minute, what is this? Hold on a second. Wait just one second. Trying to figure out what's going on here. Give me a second. Why is it saying that? Let me go back to this. That's funky. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Like, when you do one of those things where you stick your hand out to shake the hand, and then right as they start to shake, you're like, oh, too slow. It was like he did that to me. Now, we didn't shake hands, and I was at my table and he was at his table, but that is what it was like. Listen. So, yeah, what did they do? Did they listen to that first part? Is this what they did? Mr. Bilbrey's attorney in the ACLU, Gavin Rose. This is what the Courier-Times did. And he introduced himself. I introduced myself to the attorney, and I even was polite to the sheriff. And the sheriff was a dick to me. Like, when you do one of those things where you stick your hand out to shake the hand, And then right as they start to shake, you're like, oh, too slow. Okay, well, we've got our story, ladies and gentlemen. Let's write it. We've got him covered here. Like, literally all they had to do is let it play for a couple more seconds. It was like he did that to me. Now, we didn't. It was like he did that to me. All right, this is all shake hands, and I'm just pointing out that this little funky, strange ass article that the Courier-Times wrote is really weird. What's the point of this? What, so here's what they're doing, and what's really funny to me is the sheriff is doing everything that he can do to go out of his way to make me seem like I'm some big bad guy. Okay. I'm crazy. I'm a lunatic. Good Lord, lock up your children. I could be a pedophile. All of that craziness that he does. And because he can't do it anymore, actually, now he's having his buddy, his pal in the state-run media of the Henry County Courier-Times do it for him. So just keep that in the back of your mind and remind yourself when you're paying your obscene amount of money for that rag that they're not always as truthful as they should be to consider themselves a journalistic endeavor. The settlement should let Chris beanbag Sproles, but Chris has to wear the helmet. Ha 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 ha! Only the helmet. Only the helmet. What we need to do is Sproles has to wear the helmet, and I have to wear the helmet solely. Sprolesley. And we'll see who gets to shoot. Yeah, that would be fun. Well, I mean, I want to wear clothes, but that made it sound really weird. All right. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a weird episode. We've been here a long time. I knew it would be a long episode. It's Thursday. It is what it is. We also will have an episode tomorrow to make up for the one that we missed, because I feel like we will have some things to talk about. Tomorrow might be a shorter episode than normal. We might be right at about an hour and 20 minutes. It sounds like a great pay-per-view. That's hilarious. Kristopher, you're one of the people. You hold the power. Sproles couldn't be scared of that, could he? Absolutely he is. Until you do as much advertising as they do on that rag paper, they will continue to sell story his way. Absolutely. That is 1,000% what that is. Sproles Corporation, Sproles the candidate, Sproles, getting sued every other day. It's all big moneymaker for the Courier-Times. And so they look at, Sproles as the moneymaker. Absolutely, I get it. But that's why the citizens of Henry County have to say, I'm not going to buy this. They can run the Courier-Times completely out of Henry County, or they can build it up, and they could do anything they wanted to with it if they would just stop buying it, stop reading it, stop looking at it. So it is what it is. I just thought that was interesting. Clusterfuck County. Skinner told me a couple years ago that he won't let social media affect his job. Sproles missed that bit of advice. Like nothing else you could ever ever understand. That is absolutely a true statement. The last thing that I want to talk about before we leave is, ironically, I didn't even catch this until this morning when it uploaded, when I was putting the description in. But okay, I'm going to take you guys in our inner sanctum here for a minute and let you see something. All right, people, this is what our back rooms look like. Okay, when we come in here and we look at our channel content, what it looks like behind the scenes. Okay, I'm going to jump back here and I'm going to show you something. All right. So basically, all of those videos you see, they're videos, they're live videos, and there are static videos, shorts, and live videos. Now, for example, on this page, you see a bunch of videos, but there's nothing over here in this grayed out section. There's nothing in the date. There's no views. There's no comments. All of these videos, ladies and gentlemen, are all old archived videos from the old program Bilbrey Live. They're from parts of the Bastards of Politics. And from time to time, when I'm bored or if something's going on and nothing's going, I get done doing a live and I've got some time, I'll come in here and I'll grab one of these videos and I'll watch it. And I'll speed through it. Like this one's an hour and 26 minutes. And not everything that's covered in those old videos needs to be rewatched or reseen, because it's not like evergreen material. Some of it was very specific to what it was. So there's no reason to put it out in new content. Sometimes I'll take a video like that and I will watch it and I'll cut it down to a 10-minute segment, because there's 10 minutes of the video that's worth watching. And so I'll put the music in it, I'll play some music, and I'll cut it down to 10 minutes and I'll repackage it and you guys will watch it. I'll put it out. Sometimes the whole video is worth it, worth watching. Like this. I just found this the other night. This is right here. This is the exclusive Delaware County, Indiana election board meeting from 2023, where they booted Counselor Troy Ingram off the ballot. That's the full meeting, the live on location meeting before it was called live on location. And I am in the process. I'll work on that probably the rest of tonight, of putting it out there and just putting the whole video out there from front to back. Now I go in and I cut out some of the stuff that says the Bastards of Politics or whatever as much as I can. Some of it still stays, because obviously we're not the Bastards of Politics. And then in the description, I put, this video was originally aired on February 17th, 2023. And, I'm posting it because it's got yada yada content. Here it is, have at it. And that's what I do there. So last night I was doing that to a video. I was doing that to one of the videos. And I just so happened to go to find out when it first aired. And it's so strange. This is just like a freak occurrence. The video that I went to do was this video right here. It was this video, and I put it out, and it was originally called it. So what it was it came from a live, and the live was called Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. And the Dewey had something to do with Mayor Ridenhour. Cheatham had to do with the Muncie Fire Department, and Howe was about Henry County. It was how Henry County, Indiana Sheriff John Sproles is running his department. Well, I cut it all down and I cut all the other crap out of it, and it like, for example, it starts like this. I'll show you. Talking about the Henry County, Indiana Sheriff John Sproles. It starts
How
when
is
it
he
starts
running
saying,
his-
talking about the Henry County, Indiana Sheriff John Sproles. It just starts saying, talking about Henry County Sheriff John Sproles. And so it starts there and it goes through, and everything you hear talks about John Sproles, and it talks about him in his first 3 months as being sheriff. And I thought, you know, this needs to be out there because this is a really good look back at how he started. This was 3 months into his term. And so I put it out last night, and it's got a lot of views. Since I put it out, I put it out 19 hours ago, and so far nearly 200 of you have watched it, and you've all seen it before. But if you could watch it again, it's worth a watch if you haven't watched it in a year. So I put it out. When I went to put the description in, I noticed that it originally aired on April 18th, 2023. That happens to be today's date. So just out of dumb luck, I pulled a video out and I shared it 1 year from the day that it originally aired. And so I just thought that this is kind of an interesting way to end the program where we've been heavy about Sproles. I said the video originally recorded and released on April 18th, 2023. The point of the video was to highlight some concerning issues with the Henry County, Indiana government, specifically as it related to how the sheriff looked at other elected officials in the county and how his leadership or lack thereof seemed to be a bad thing for the people on his department that he should be teaching and leading. This video was part of the former Bilbrey Live program on the Bastards of Politics network, and since the split, it had been sitting around in our archives collecting dust. But since it's such a great example of Sheriff John M. Sproles' issues, the team wanted to re-release it so it could be seen, since it's a great starting point of the strange Sproles journey. So, ladies and gentlemen, as Bilbrey says, let's roll. Henry County Sheriff John M. Sproles sends his deputies to debate with the county commissioners 2023. This would have been a regularly scheduled monthly meeting, and the deputies were there to talk to the commissioners about wanting to complete the sheriff's department workout room to their liking. The attitude that the young FNG deputy has when talking to the elected commissioners is crazy. And it just goes to show how the sheriff's actions and his behaviors trickle down to those that look up to him. Keep in mind that this was happening in April of 2023. So just 3 months and a handful of days into his first term. Everything should have still been so nice and new. The honeymoon period didn't last long. Hell, the sheriff's department had already went head to head with the commissioners once before this, that being the time that the sheriff just spent money without getting it approved by the commissioners first. That was when it all went south. He didn't like thinking that he had to ask for permission. But this was early. Keep in mind, this was before all of the various lawsuits, before they all started coming in. This was before the sheriff's battle of the badges with small town police departments throughout Henry County, before the beanbag use of force incident, before the bus stop racism, before the harassment of SPD Officer Humphreys, before the First Amendment violations, before. For those of you around from the way back, Bilbrey called all of this, and I did. He was correct right from the start, before the start even. The only question is, where does it end? If you are interested in watching more videos detailing Sheriff John Sproles' insanity, click the following link for the full playlist. And I put the playlist there. All right. What's interesting about this is, ladies and gentlemen, I wrote this and I published this at like 4:30 or 5 o'clock this morning. And I'm talking about how this video highlights how Sproles' piss poor leadership affects the other deputies on his department. Because if we go in here and you watch this and you listen to it, you can see how here's Josh Smith, okay? And here's the younger deputy. This guy had only been on for a little bit, and he is so rude to the commissioners. He is so out of line, and you can hear just the disgust that he has, that they should not be questioning them, their law enforcement. What's sad is, an hour after I pushed this to go live, that very same behavior took a life in the city of Muncie. So for everybody that thinks that I'm just a blowhard, I'm a bad guy, I'm out here just hating on people, I don't like this person or that person, or I'm unchristian or whatever, I do this for very real reasons. There are real world things that happen because of all of this shit. I'm not playing around. I'm not just going, I've got some money and I'm putting it together and I put together this. I'm doing this because I believe in every freaking thing that I say. And it's serious and it's bad. And we can make it better, but it's going to take all of us. So I just thought it was interesting that this was a year apart, and how just it's like it's almost bookend. It's very, very interesting. It's very, very like kismet, very spooky kind of. So check that out if you haven't. The other really interesting thing is when I was putting this together, I found another video of where the sheriff was actually a guest on the show with me, and I had him on the phone call for about 45 minutes, and I'm getting ready to put that out to let you guys hear what it sounds like when the sheriff and I talk. Because while it was about a weird incident, we were still friendly, and so it wasn't like a hateful interaction, and it's kind of weird to hear that. So I will get that put out for you guys here in the real short interim time at some point too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very, very, very much for being here. I'm going to try to get us ended before the 3-hour mark. Thank you all very much. Please do us a favor and hit the like button on your way out. Do all of the YouTube things. We would very much appreciate it. You guys have been fantastic. We will be here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. That is on a special night on a Friday night. So be here or be square. You guys take care. God bless. Have a good night. Goodbye.